do not see clearly the evil in yourself, else you would hate yourself with all your soul. You are assaulting yourself, O simpleton, like the lion who made a rush at himself. When you reach the bottom of your own nature, then you will know that that wildness was from yourself. At the bottom of the well, it became manifest to the lion that he who seemed to him to be another was really his own image. Whoever tears out the teeth of a poor wretch is doing what the falsely seen lion did. O you who see the bad reflection on the face of your uncle, it is not your uncle that is bad, it is you. Do not run away from yourself. The faithful are mirrors to one another. This saying is related from the Prophet. You held a blue glass before your eye. For that reason, the world seemed to you to be blue. Unless you are blind, know that this blueness comes from yourself. Speak ill of yourself. Speak no more ill of anyone else. If the true believer was not seen by the light of God, how did things unseen appear naked, plainly revealed to the true believer? The question is, Acharya ji, please explain what is evil and how can I know my evil in a clearer manner? Man, as he is, seeks support. Man knows himself to be powerless, defenseless, both physically and mentally. Even as he walks on the earth, his feet are held by gravity. Even as he thinks, his mind is held by experience. Man seeks support. What is evil? Nothing big, nothing very powerful. The evil is just a mistake, albeit a recurring, iterative, stubborn mistake. To seek support from a point that is not worthy of offering support is evil. Man must bow down, and man does bow down. To bow down in front of a power, in front of an agency that is not worthy of reverence is evil. The difference between evil and sin is not one of dimension but degree. Sinning is a mistake. To keep repeating that mistake incessantly, like a flawed machine, that is evil. The mark of a person caught up in evil is that the result of his flawed being keeps showing up. It never happens that evil comes without its results. The more deeply one is immersed in evil, the more obvious and recurring the results are. The entire day can get filled up with suffering. And that's what highlights evil. That's what makes evil the power that one loathes. In spite of seeing the flow of results, the constant stream of results, one refuses to acknowledge that one is living wrongly. That's the mark of evil. The stubborn refusal to acknowledge that one is living by the wrong support. In face of evidence, in defiance of all proof, one insists, using all power, all logic, all intellect, all crookedness, that one is all right. That's evil. To make a mistake is sin. To become a mistake is evil. When one becomes a mistake, then the mistake is no longer a mistake. Then a mistake appears natural. Then one starts identifying with the mistake. Then one starts saying, this is not a deviation. This is not an aberration. This is the norm. This is my nature. This is me. Now, if one suffers, one wants to change others. Because nature cannot be changed. Nature cannot be challenged. And one has accepted the mistake, the error, the illusion as one's nature. Whatever you accept as your nature is something that you have accepted as infallible. Whatever you accept as your identity is something you have accepted as inevitable, indispensable. Whatever you accept as your center or your God is what you have accept it as your inexorable destiny. Now that center obviously cannot be looked at. That center cannot be scrutinized. That center now becomes beyond observation for you. It becomes your holy shrine. You cannot challenge it. But suffering there is. So what would you do now? You would want to challenge others. The real agency of suffering you have declared as beyond doubt. So you will doubt all else. You will doubt the entire world, but not the real agency. The entire world would appear wicked to you. There would be faults all around. You would see conspiracies, crimes. You would see hostility everywhere. The world is an antagonist. The world is forever plotting to bring you down. And because your belief in your own infallibility is very strong, so you will actually start seeing demons in the world. You will be utterly convinced. This conviction is a hallmark of evil. Petty ones who make petty mistakes have some self-doubt left. So the scope for redemption is there. We look at the world. We look at ourselves. And this looking will always result in conflict and friction. The other is the other. Even if he is full of wonderful intentions towards you, still the other is the other. You can never know him completely. The other is the other. The other by definition is never totally knowable. In the best of cases, the other will be a pleasant surprise to you. Pleasant, but still a surprise because he is not knowable, not predictable, not fully within your grasp. The relationship between man and world is always going to be acrimonious. biologically and from an evolutionary perspective, man has always grown against odds. Man has always grown in face of difficulties. Every single body part that you have is present to overcome some obstacle. These fingers are there so that you may grip the other. The thumb is there so that it may power the grip. Look at your nails, look at your teeth. Look at your hair. What do you think the hair are for? The hair are there to protect your sensitive parts. The skull is the most exposed and the most vulnerable. It requires protection. Even that which we consider as mark of our beauty is essentially an armor. And an armor means you are forever embattled. To be born is to be born in battle. Why do your eyelids have lashes? Why? The essential purpose is not that of attraction or aesthetics. The essential purpose is of protection. Do you see this? Your body demands protection. Your body is in itself continuously striving to protect itself. What is skin? What is skin? The skin is your primary armor. And that is why the places where the skin comes most in contact with the world are the places where the skin is the thickest. Do you see what is happening? Wherever you come in contact with the world, you require a thick armor. Look at your skin here, at the wrist. See how it feels. And look at your skin here, the palm. Do you feel the difference? What is the difference between these 2 points? This point really does not come too much in contact with the world. And this comes in contact with the world. Hence the armor is
much more
thicker here. And look now, just feel the skin on your soles. See how thick it is. You require protection even against the earth. That is how man is. To seek defense is not merely a mental imagination. The entire body is forever crying out for and planning for defense. Are you getting it? What do you think the lips are there for? Beauty? We have talked of hair, we have talked of eyelashes, we have talked of skin. All of these are also taken as elements of beauty in the human body. Look at the lips. What do you think the lips are for? And the lips are tender. What is this tenderness of the lips for? Why do the lips jut out a little, protrude a little? Why? So that no harmful agent may enter an even more tender part, which is the mouth cavity. Before something enters your sensitive alimentary canal and is able to hurt you, it must pass through the delicate checkpoint of lips. So you may use lips for all kinds of poetic purposes, or think that they are instruments of kissing. They are not. They are there to protect your throat. The purpose of the lips is to protect the tongue, the throat, the stomach, the intestine. Do you see this? Now, that is man. That is man for you. Condemned to be fighting all the time. The man might drop his weapons, but can he drop his very evolutionary instincts? Can he drop his body? And it is very, very easy to believe in what one sees. At the same time, man feels something that is not quite a feeling. Man experiences something that is not quite an experience. Man has an instinct that goes against his fundamental self-preservative instinct. While the entire apparatus is designed for self-protection, man sometimes rises up against himself, as if something within you is revolting against you. As if the fort has been armored, equipped. Against the enemy. But from within the fort, a strong voice of rebellion is rising from within the fort. As if the enemy of this biological structure lives within. I am deliberately using the word enemy because the biological structure and the mental structure knows nothing but its own continuation. There is something within you that is not so worried about its own continuation. It is prepared to give itself up. It is prepared to submit itself to something unknowable. It is prepared to go a little mad. It is prepared to drop defenses. It is prepared to overrule its fear. But this something is firstly quite occasional, secondly very intangible. No proof is available. It can be hence very easily dismissed. Now, on one hand, is the entire tangible world of experiences. The constant flow of stimuli. And on the other hand is there that sporadic, faint, mostly incomprehensible voice, which is not even a voice, which is not even anything. The decision is obvious. The upshot is highly predictable. Man is doomed to decide in favor of what is provable. What is obvious to the eyes, the senses. This is called sinning. This is bound to happen. But when this happens, and every time this happens, man sinks a little more into himself. The fear that the body is becomes even more aggravated. As if now there are hair all over the body. As if now everything needs protection. As if now you need hair even on your palms. Just touching something can mean getting hurt. The more one decides in favor of conflict and hurt, the more one is mired in conflict and hurt, and the result is suffering. So while it is pardonable that the mistake is made once, but the recurring results of the mistake should be enough to wake one up. To not to wake up in spite of loud reminders is evil. And reminders are there constantly, just as the pull of the body and the world are there constantly. One cannot be faulted for slipping once. But if one is slipping again and again, and that too at the same spot in the same manner, then what do you say? And look at the life of the common man. Look at your life, look at my life. What else are we doing? Are we ever learning? Is there ever a fundamental change? Are we human beings at all? Or are we just corrupted machines? A software bugged, a design gone wrong. No software is auto-corrective. No machine can correct its own design. Look at your life. Have you ever made a fresh mistake? That is evil. To never make a new mistake. To be mistaken once is human. You are given only 2 eyes, that too on one side of this ball. The back side has no eyes. It's alright if something hits you from behind and you are unable to perceive it or predict it. But what if you are constantly being hit from behind and still you refuse to turn around? That is evil. Somebody said to err is human, to forgive is divine. To keep erring is evil. If you make a mistake once, you are human. If you are not making a mistake even once, then you are pretending. Everyone is entitled to his one mistake. And that one can come plenty of times. Fresh mistakes are alright. One can call them cute. What else is cuteness? A little bit of ugliness is called cuteness. Ugliness in palatable proportions is cuteness. The kind of things that you call as cute, see what will happen if they increase in degree. You will start calling them evil. A child slaps you once with his little hands. You call it cute. The child slaps you 10,000 times and keeps slapping you for 10 years. What would you call it?
Now you had it.
Cuteness is nothing but ugliness in palatable proportions. Like a mole on a face. Like the spots that you have on the moon. One mistake is our entitlement. But mistake after mistake is just foolishness of a superlative kind. It is punished. It is its own punishment. To live as a mind that has lost all capacity to learn and self-correct. Can there be a bigger punishment than that? Can there be a bigger punishment than that? Every day you are suffering. Every day you are being told. Every day you are being reminded. And you take oaths. You promise to yourself and the world. You make resolutions, and the next day you again fall in the same ditch. That is evil. That is not pardonable. Why do you do that? You do that because of the one characteristic that is central to evil: conviction. You are highly convinced. You are extremely confident of yourself. Oh, you may pretend doubt. You may pretend that the mind is in a flux, that the mind is open to reception. The mind is not. The mind is well settled. You have consolidated your position. You have dug a trench and are now entrenched. Like soldiers in a bunker. You know what a bunker is? Even bombs cannot destroy a bunker. You have created such a thick layer of protection around yourself. You are bunkered. Even shells cannot make their way through your defense now. Hence, nothing surprises you. You have lost all your sensitivity. When even a shell cannot put you in shell shock, then how can the little movements of life, like touches of music, ever make you resonate with them? The sound of bombs does not reach you. How will the sound of winds whispering or a stream gurgling ever reach you? This is one of the punishments of evil. You lose all sensitivity because you have coated yourself so thickly, hence nothing reaches you. Your skin is so thick now, it does not feel even the hit of a stone, a rock. How will your skin now respond to the touch of a petal? All the beauty of the universe is now lost upon you. Nothing fine, delicate is of any relevance to you now. Only the course matters to you, and your determination is that even the course should not matter. Somebody casts a glance at you. You do not understand. You do not know that an entire epic has been communicated to you. You have lost that capacity. You want that person to now shout at you. Tender touches, displays, relays. Do not now mean anything. And when that person shouts at you, when the entire universe shouts at you, then your response is that the shouting must matter as little as possible. You want to defend yourself against the shouts as well. You want to become somebody who remains untouched by even explosions. You hear so little, and your criteria of progress is that you must hear even lesser. And that is the reason why the evil is often shouted at. Because he can anyway not hear the fine, the delicate, the subtle. And what is the reaction of the evil? Oh, today was a bad day because the shouting influenced me. Let me thicken my armor a little more. Let me plug my ears a little more. The bunker is probably not strong enough. Why am I vulnerable to the shouts of the universe? Why do I feel hurt when admonished by existence? I must be so sure of myself, so utterly convinced of myself, that even if I am kicked around daily, it should not matter to me. This is the support that I talked of in the beginning. The evil one is so sure of himself that he is his own support. It's a closed loop, very difficult to come out of. You do not listen to existence, so you get hurt. Because you get hurt, you plug your ears even further. Because you plug your ears even more, so you get hurt even more, because your capacity to listen and learn further deteriorates. You keep getting hurt, and your response to each episode of hurt is further insensitivity. You say, if I become sensitive, I get hurt. So I must be even more insensitive. The more insensitive you are, the more incapable of real perception are you. In other words, insensitivity is blindness. The more blind you are, the more often you stumble and fall and get hurt. The more you get hurt, the more you want the skin on your knees to be harder, thicker. You become a gorilla, thick-skinned and with hair all over. I don't want to abuse gorillas. They are far better than us, but just figuratively. The same things that characterize a saint are also found in evil. And that is why the evil is such a difficult position to get out of. The self-assuredness that characterizes a saint is found in equal measure in the Satan. If you ever find a man who is very, very into himself, extremely settled, no questions, no doubts, either he is a saint or he is the worst sinner possible. I am God is a statement that either the Son of God, the Prophet of God, the Messenger of God, the Servant of God would utter, or the worst offender would utter. And that is why in some streams you are not allowed to utter that you are God. Because the one who really feels that proximate to God feels no need to say all this. Only the evil is interested in declaring its godliness. The evil has taken a very wrong turn. The evil has reclined upon a very wrong support. You see, mostly people are dependent upon the world. And when I teach them to not to be dependent on the world. I say, why do you get influenced? I say, why do you listen so much to others? When I talk to evil people, I say, please get influenced by others. Please listen to others. Do you see what I am saying? Please. The evil has lost all capacity to be influenced even by the world. He is so deeply sure of himself. The normal mediocre man lives conditioned by the world. The world will come and say, you know what, you're not looking good. And he'll start feeling unsettled, nervous. The world will come and say, you know what, these things are wrong about you. And he'll start having self-doubts. We rebuke that position. We say, no, that should not happen. You should not be influenced by the world. But as we say you should not be influenced by the world, we also add, you should not become a servant to yourself either. The evil is the one who is no more a servant to the world but has become a servant to himself. He has found a wrong shelter. He was going all right and he took a wrong turn. What was his direction? His direction was away from the world. But coming away from the world, he took refuge into himself. He did not let himself dissolve away with the world. He said, all right, the world does not influence me, but I remain as I am, not amenable to the world, not available to the world, but available to myself. That is the evil one's freedom from the world. That's his concept of freedom. He's actually very free. If you try to put him in chains, it will not be possible. Many of the indications he displays are reminiscent of a saint. The evil would die but not change, just like a saint. The evil would rather die than change. Even if you defeat the evil in an argument, he would still keep smiling. Even if you prove to him 1,000 times about the destructiveness and foolishness of his ways, he would still keep smiling, just like a saint. You cannot convince a saint. You cannot convince the Satan either. All your efforts go waste there. And that is why the saints have sometimes advised other saints to stay clear of evil. They say that if you want to do good to someone, make sure that he is at least available to goodness. Evil is the one who is no more available. He is in a closed loop now. Nothing can touch him anymore. Grace would come, keep knocking, he would not open his door. His self-defense is without any holes or cracks or fissures. The wall is perfect. It appears sometimes that even God cannot breach that wall. That is evil. In such conditions, the saints have advised, just stay away. The evil is a miracle. You cannot fight miracles. Withdraw where you see evil. Evil comes directly from God, and only God would cure evil. You withdraw. You don't try to interfere. The evil is too strong for you. The questioner has asked, how do I identify the evil within me? Am I right? The question exactly is, how can I know my evil in a clearer manner? See where you refuse to be corrected. See where your mistakes are repetitive. That's where you are evil. See where nobody can disturb you, nobody can touch you. The very function of the teacher is to disturb. If you can sit in front of a real teacher and yet return unhurt, unscathed, unwounded, whole, then you are evil. If even sitting in front of a capable teacher, sitting next to a capable teacher, again and again, you still remain the same, then you are nothing but the evil personified. You are dangerous. Even the teacher should care for his own welfare and stay away from you. There is, I have heard an Arabic saying that even a donkey does not fall in the same hole twice. Even a donkey does not fall in the same hole twice. If you find yourself falling in the same hole every morning, every afternoon, every night, then you should know who you are. Where the donkey surrenders and fades away, the evil starts. The evil is beyond foolishness. The evil is beyond mistakes. To be born once is a mistake. To live a life that would condemn you to 1,000 births and deaths is evil. See what is it in you that refuses to budge. Look out for that block that refuses to melt or break. That's how you can spot your evil. What is it that you are most determined about? That's where your evil lies. What is it that you would not give up? That's where your evil lies. What is it that is indisputable to you? That is where your evil lies. What is it that you just don't want to surrender? That's where your evil lies. What is it that you would die for? That is where your evil lies. The evil is bigger than one's love for the body. The evil is bigger than one's love for ideology. The evil is bigger than anything. The evil is bigger even than God. One can sacrifice anything for evil. Life, identity, God. Obviously, small things like truth or joy or love can be so easily forsaken for evil. What is it that you are prepared to sacrifice your freedom for? What is it that you are prepared to sacrifice love for? But your definitions of freedom and love are so distorted. So I would rather ask a simple question: what is it that you are prepared to sacrifice your life for? That is evil. You look at so many people voluntarily choosing to give up their lives, right? Whether in war or in suicides or in negligence. A patient who has been told to not to do certain things still goes ahead and does the same things. What is he doing? He is saying something is more precious to me than my life. I cannot give up on the cigarette. There is someone who cannot bear that he has lost respect in the eyes of his peers. He would rather put a pistol to his temple and shoot. There is something that he has found higher than life, and it is not God. And that thing that he has found higher than life, than body, is not God. That which is bigger than you and is yet not God is evil. Then there is another one who decides that he must fight for his honor in a war, in a battlefield. And he too gives up his life. He too has found something that is bigger than the body. But is he sacrificing himself for God? No. That is evil. People fight on petty issues. The petty issues escalate. Often lives are lost. Have they offered their bodies to God? A suicide bomber, is he really killing himself for the sake of God? That's where evil is. I ask you, what is it that you do not want to compromise on? What is it that you don't want to give up? What is it that you are so insistent about? Hope you have the answer to your question.